Peace, world majority brothers and sisters. It's ICE time once again. Speaking of ICE, here's some breaking news for y'all. ICE doesn't know what it's doing. Literally. According to an Office of the Inspector General report entitled The Performance of 287G Agreements Report Update, ICE cannot say for certain that 287G is meeting their priorities because federal immigration police do not collect and analyze enough data to make that determination. The report is littered with empty tidbits, like so. Performance measures that incorporate arrest, detention, and removals within each of the priority levels of criminal offenders have not been established. ICE needs to develop a more comprehensive approach to determine whether the overall goals of the 287G program are being achieved. And my own personal favorite. However, in the absence of performance measures linked to specific program goals, ICE's success in identifying and removing criminal aliens cannot be fully determined. For example, the report says, officials with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement spent $6,329 per person for travel related to reviewing 287G agreements around the country. By the Inspector General's calculations, though, the travel should have cost about $2,300 per person, and immigration officials did not supply documentation for the higher number, the report says. So y'all know what this means, right? ICE, and by extension the federal government, is quite satisfied with 392,000 deportations regardless of whether those deported were actually convicted of misdemeanors, minor felonies, or major drug or violent crimes. Now, most elementary school kids, as long as public education funds haven't been slashed like they have here in Arizona, learned that when you have a goal, you're supposed to take information that measures whether or not you are achieving your goal. ICE's incompetence, as compared to the average fifth grader melting ants on the sidewalk under a magnifying glass, is nothing less than an official confirmation about how much room for corruption ICE is leaving as it relates to nationwide programs. The possible full implementation of local laws such as SB 1070 should be regarded in the same light. Not only is their utter proposal inhumane, racist, ignorance, and fear-mongering in nature, but their execution opens the door for instant lack of transparency by those who enforce the programs. I imagine that although secure communities involves fingerprinting, police officers who abuse within this abusive program won't be fingerprinted and later held accountable for any injustices they caused. ICE, I guess, is in the test phase of playing with people's lives, the experimental phase of separating families. Now, to further compound this disaster, we learned that last Monday, 14 officers from the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office began training as federal 287G immigration agents at a military base in North Carolina. Yes, you heard that correctly, at a military base in North Carolina. The 287G training lasts 4 weeks, and given the above information, is more like a retreat for further militarizing local communities with little to no oversight stopping you from doing whatever. However, with all of this injustice, we must recognize that this repression against our community is exactly the same treatment, though with less direct violence employed, as other populations under military occupation by the United States. Other peoples of color and poor, just like us, are enduring the same brunt of the U.S. military boot across the world, whether the uniforms are blue here or camouflage over there. On November 1st, the day before midterm elections, Governor Jan Brewer will not be in Arizona doing any last-minute speeches or hosting campaign parties in order to buoy support for her candidacy. Rather, she will be in San Francisco at the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals defending the indefensible SB 1070. For the sake of the migrant workers' rights movement, let's hope she gets plenty of speaking parts. Being that Brewer's rise in popularity is only because of her support of SB 1070 and exaggerations of the border issue which have provoked and catalyzed widespread hate and fear in this state, she's pretty much doing campaign work even though she won't physically be in Arizona. Meanwhile, Cecilia Muñoz, Director of White House Intergovernmental Affairs, publicly has stated that Latino citizens should feel encouraged to vote despite those pesky deportation numbers. Quote, "At the end of the day, our goal is to fix what's wrong in our immigration system. It's about our future as a community and country. There's a lot at play. The options are clear, and it's important that people vote." Unquote. You ever feel like someone's talking at you and not to you. When the White House puts a black face on good old American injustice, that's talking at you. When the black face puts a brown face name in front of you in order to manipulate your decisions and alter how you would process information if it was given to you by a white person regularly, that's talking at you. When that brown face name tells you, don't sweat the deportations, get out there and vote, she's talking at you and not to you. The main difference is that when people talk at you, they don't care what your response might be. They need to get their talk on and then go backstage, take a quick bite of hors d'oeuvres, and roll out in the White House limo fleet. But you and your day-to-day concerns of separated families and destroyed communities get a talking point for your trouble. The one we've all come to know and loathe. We'll fix it for you if you vote for us again. We consult all voting types to check out the La Frontera Times Voto de Castigo website at the following web address in order to tailor your voting to how the Latino community is being treated by candidates. But until the next time, the struggle is won. Peace.